guys, welcome back to another Q&A with Chef A. I'm Chef Andrea, and if you are new here, welcome. So nice to have you. If you are a Gumroad subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. We're so happy to have you here. And as you know from last month, I am doing some cookbook corners for my Gumroaders. There's more available on YouTube. If you are watching me on the Gumroad format and wonder where these are, you can find them on our YouTube channel at achefs.com and just click YouTube. And links below, etc., etc. So, Cookbook Corner. I collect cookbooks. Why wouldn't I? I'm a professional cook. And originally, my collection, not originally, at its peak, my collection hit around, I think I said 1,200 copies. It might have been a little bit more. Now it's about 400 books. I pare it down. I might have gotten it down to 350. It's a lot of books. There's a lot of cookbooks at my house. There's a lot of cookbooks here at my cooking studio. And some of them are truly collectors, and you've seen some of those through this series of Cookbook Corner. We've done a Miss Beaton's, and we did a 1973 recipe card holder from Better Homes and Gardens, I think. So some of them are just fun collectibles, and some of them I really love to cook out of. I would say this one that I'm going to feature today is a little bit of both. So there are some recipes in here that are doable, and there are some that are advanced, I would say, but I don't think that makes them not doable. They're just advanced. But this book is really fun just to own and look at. So here it is. This is Season. So I want you to look at this cover for a moment. Sorry, there's stains on it. I tried to get them off of there, but whatever it is on there permanently. I probably got oil or something on it. And it's Nick Sharma. Nick Sharma. And then he has a blog, A Brown Table, that you may be familiar with, but you may not be. Before we dive into Nick Sharma's beautiful book called Season, I want to briefly touch on the concept of a blog as still being a viable resource for information and entertainment for you. I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm being careful where I tread here. I love a blog, and I love a podcast. I may be partial to podcasts. I do not have a TikTok account. I never had a Twitter account. The 1 minute attention span syndrome that is happening because of these things. You want me to be really honest? Honestly, it kind of terrifies me. I'm not sure what's happening to our brains, but I don't think it's good. Even within the world of Instagram and Facebook, if it's all stories and reels, see what my finger just did? It already knows that the entertainment that I'm going to get is going to be seconds, splits. Blip, image, like it, image. Personally, I am working to not succumb to that myself, certainly on an addictive level, and in my own personal time, trying to really restrain myself from using those tools in that way. In my own video production, you know, my videos are 20 to 45 minutes. There's nothing fast happening here. I get that TikTok is huge. I mean, I guess inherently I understand that it's big. I understand the Kardashians are a thing too, and I don't know if I would recognize one if they walked through the door. I don't know how many there are. I don't know what they do. You know, not everything that is big needs to be part of you. I am just a fan of slowing down and to listening to ourselves. Are we, what's it doing for us? And that kind of frenetic energy is really disruptive to me. I'm already an absolute spaz case. I don't need tools throwing more of that at my already mildly muddled brain. So back to the idea of a blog. If you've gotten away from that, or if you think those are dead, they are not dead. They are there and waiting and pleasant and slow paced. Try it out. Take a breath. take a walk, come back in, and try reading a blog. That's what I have to say about that. So he has a beautiful blog. The blog is A Brown Table. So Nick Sharma, let me read for you very briefly who he is, so we're all kind of on the same page, and then I'll show you some of this stuff if you're not familiar with him. And sorry, I flagged his page, and now I'm flipping through page by page. Let me just read a little bit from his book. This is from page, I had glasses here somewhere, page 20 of Season. And this is Nick, first of all. Let's get a visual image. He's handsome, isn't he? I love that urban, cool, hip apron thing happening. That's awesome. Okay. A Brown Table. I am now working on A Brown Table, developing, testing, writing, and shooting recipes. In 2016, I started writing my own featured food column, A Brown Kitchen, for the San Francisco Chronicle, where I share recipes inspired by the foods and flavors of California and India. Let's just pause. Foods and flavors of California and India. I'm in. Mine is the story of a gay immigrant told through food. It has been a journey of self-discovery I embarked on more than a decade ago, one that has taught me to recognize the inherent tension between originality and tradition, and to opt for the former without rejecting the latter. I really love that. It has been a journey of acclimatization, adaptation, and acceptance. During times of discomfort, food became my friend and teacher. It taught me to reinterpret. It taught me to reinterpret conventional techniques and flavors and to apply these reinterpretations to my food that would become a part of my new life in America. Seasoning is more than just a way to achieve flavor in the food we eat. It represents our desire to connect with our past, present, and future. It tells our story. Okay, that's beautifully written. You're not going to find that kind of content in a 90-second blast on TikTok. It's just not going to happen, right? We gotta slow down and take a minute and read a paragraph written by somebody who is writing from the heart. And I shared with you guys on Cookbook Corner the Pat Connery cookbook, and one of the reasons I loved it is the writing, right? Pat Connery was an amazing writer. Oh, sorry, I just hit that microphone. Pat Conroy was an incredible writer, and so of course his cookbook is beautifully written. I mean, if you've never cooked anything out of it, it's really fun to read. And so when you have a blogger, a successful blogger who produces a gorgeous cookbook, the reading alone is going to be of value. Get into bed with a cup of hot tea, turn every one of those darn devices off, and crack into a really gorgeous cookbook. Well written. Or hop on his blog. Let's look at a couple of the photos in here. I want to show you a picture of one of the recipes that I actually did when I first got this book, which is crispy pork bellies. So let me tell you something about the photos. Nick also is the photographer. So he is the writer, the chef, and the photographer. Look how beautiful that is. Sorry, there's a little glare there. I love that. And the whole book has that sort of tone, that sort of faded out dark background, and just the focus on the actual little bite of food itself. I'll show you a few more like that. It's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, this is no surprise. This section is all kind of warped out on me. You can see the water warping on that page. It's because I've used it. And the meat section, of course, gets a lot of use in my world. I love these photos. He's an amazing photographer, an amazing writer, and then a wonderful cook with just a really great vision for what he's doing. And a lot of this stuff is really doable at home. It isn't so elevated, you can't get there. I think actually what it is relatively simple. He just has elevated with a really beautiful approach to spices, flavor combinations, and really being careful with each item. If seeds need to be toasted and then ground to really bring out the flavor. Man, this page is so gross. I almost don't want to show it to you because it's so stained up. Do you see all the splatters on it? So, but obviously it's gotten a lot of love in my world. So braising meat for your beautiful tacos. But let me show you some pictures that aren't all splattered up. You probably would appreciate that, wouldn't you? The photos in here. Golly. Look at this. Just absolutely gorgeous. There's just this sort of aesthetic, I guess is what I'm trying to say. that comes through again and again that I think is so enjoyable with his photography. And his writing calms me down. Crostini look fancy, but they're dead easy to make, and you can top them with anything you like. I like a salty, umami-filled topping of sardines and anchovies, paired with thin slices of sweet tart kumquats, creamy butter beans, fresh dill, and lemon. Yum. Serve that to me. Look at this cool photo just of his notes and his journals. Just an overhead shot of his own note-taking. Isn't that cool? I can look at images like that absolutely all day long. The spiced meatloaf that's in here is wonderful. The crispy pork bellies, I absolutely loved them. I will say that there is not a lot of access to great Indian cuisine locally. So I do, if I'm getting a hankering, it is usually me who has to make it for me. And so that is something that my kitchen, when I'm going to take some time and prepare a really nice something I'm craving, Indian food tends to be high on the list of things I'll do for myself. Again, just because there's just not access. There just isn't a fantastic Indian restaurant close to me, so I have to take things into my own hands. So I always really appreciate cookbooks that get me there. Look at this spread. Isn't that beautiful? I love that he did the photographs. Look at that. See the lime juice dripping midair? Isn't that gorgeous? Really cool. Just absolutely beautiful. So, delicious flavors. Oh, eggplant pilaf. Okay, now I'm getting distracted. Look at this. Gorgeous. You see what I mean about taking a minute? You see what I mean about just slowing down for a minute? Get something nice and warm to sip on. And take a breath. Turn off the devices. Turn off the TV. Turn off the world. Sit back. Look at some beautiful photos. The blog. Check out the blog. When was the last time you went there? I right here, right now. Let's do it. It's a revolution. Revolution. Yeah. When we revolt. It's a revolution. That's what we're going to do. We are revolting. No, that's not what we want to be. Just kidding. It's a revolution. Let's go back to the blog, guys. Let's slow down, not speed up. Our day, our time together, the way that we take things in, let's do them slower, not faster. Right? Don't you think? I think so. I know, I'm kind of preachy this month. I don't know why. Because it's everywhere, isn't it? And I don't think it's helping us. I see the distraction and the frustration in people, the attention span that just isn't there anymore. And to me, the speed that this thing throws stuff at us feels like an assault, to be honest with you. It's overwhelming to me. But I tend to take a lot on in every hour of every day anyway. This mind absolutely never stops. I have to really force presence. I have to really force slowing down. I have to put myself in a little box and tune that other stuff out. And this thing is an assault on that to me. So I don't have a TikTok account. And that is in part why I am not interested in the slot machine action of jing, what's that? Jing, what's that? Push that button. What's that? What's that? It just has no appeal to me. If you love it, that is so cool. It is your thing. And P.S., if you love slot machines, jingling and jangling and pushing buttons and pulling levers, that's cool too. We all got our thing. It just ain't my thing. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? So here's the thing that's amazing about cookbooks, you guys. I brought this out to show you season, to tell you that Nick Sharma is an amazing photographer, an amazing cook, has produced an amazing book, has a cool blog. Please go check it out. And we get talking about our assault on senses. And phones feeling like, Vegas slot machines. And isn't that what a great cookbook can do? Right? Yeah, it can show me how to do some really crispy pork bellies and a cool eggplant biryani. But can it cause me to philosophize about how we're using technology today, where we're getting our entertainment value, what we're willing to stop and enjoy, what will allow ourselves the time to do? A good cookbook can do that, can't it? See, this is why the rage of the internet recipe never caught on for me. And I'm going to tell you in part why. I'm muddling the limes with the sugar. Isn't that beautiful? The rage of the internet recipe. I never stopped buying cookbooks. I never stopped buying cookbooks. I never stopped using cookbooks. And even now, if I find an internet recipe that for some reason is of appeal, first of all, I change something in every recipe that I do. It's literally my job. And also, I often make substitutions. I add things in that I know support me better. This banana bread is a nice base concept, but I am going to switch out some of the flour with amaranth flour, and I am going to add in some pumpkin seeds because I'm always trying to get iron sources into everything that I eat. Right? So I'm going to make changes anyway. But even with that, I don't leave it on the internet. I print it out. And then if I do make changes and tweak things out and enjoy them, I type them up for myself. And now I have my own hard copy that I can print out. I want it in my hand. And I want to sit down quietly with a cup of coffee in the morning and review it. I don't want to go to a device for it. And I don't want to go to a machine for it. And a cookbook gives us that. It gives us that break from all of that jangling slot machine info popping in our faces. Look at this photo. I mean, doesn't that just make you want to go bake a loaf of bread? That makes me want to get my hands in flour immediately, like this minute. This minute. When we think about cooking at home and why we cook at home, when we do things that we don't need to do, like bake bread, you can buy bread. Or when we think about baking cookies or baking banana bread. I baked cookies and banana bread yesterday. Maybe that's why they're both on my brain right now. So I have been going non-stop this week. Like it's just been really for probably the last 10 days. It's every single day has had something happening, which we all get into those spells. This is the world we live in. I try to be aware when it's happening because I can feel it starting to accumulate and it's starting to tense me up. I start to feel my shoulders getting closer to my earlobes as the week goes by. And so yesterday I had a day that I kind of woke up, had coffee, cleared my head, and realized that of the sort of to-dos that I had set up for myself, none of them were really that important. They were all self-created to-dos. Do you know what I mean? There weren't specific appointments, there weren't meetings, etc. None of that. And so I got dressed and I went in the kitchen and I baked cookies and I baked banana bread. It's an immediate detach from all of that other stuff, isn't it? The slot machine jangle goes away. Alexa plays some nice music so I can still enjoy my technology and just quiet and just mash up bananas and measure out brown sugar and decide that adding some praline pecans to that banana bread would be a lot of fun. And dig out the butterscotch chips because that's who I am. When I finally needed a break and really needed to just settle down for a minute, what I did was bake for 2 hours. It grounds us. There's something about producing, and also what a lovely treat. At the end, we got to have a cup of coffee and a homemade peanut butter chocolate chip cookie. And then this morning we got to have a slice of really nice banana bread. What a beautiful treat. What a nice way to treat ourselves. So get out the cookbooks, or if you have been all internet cookbooks for a while, go buy a hardback cookbook that's just loaded with beautiful photos. If all you do is just slow the pace and review these photos and just look at this market scene. Look at some of these. Travel in your mind, read Nick's information about these scenes, what they mean to him, his past, his path, and his current life. Beautiful, right? It takes a moment, and it's worth every bit of it. Beautiful book. One thing that's really fun in Nick's book, I think that my mom has done a few things out of this book too. She has it as well. My husband finds these just gorgeous books and gives them to us as gifts for Christmas every year. But some of his just snacky kind of stuff is really fun. And I think we've all done his cashews. So just delicious snacks. You don't have to get into an all-day braising thing if you don't want to. When did I say, I was talking just the other day about it being late summer and I haven't done a soup or a stew in a while because why would I? It's 1,000 degrees outside. But that's what I'm craving when I crave the concept of a pot of something stewing on the stove. It's that slow down. It's that quiet. It's that focus on this one task. And then in the end, the enjoyment of that nourishment, of that flavor. It's wonderful, isn't it? And for some reason, Nick's book just really, it delivers that for me. It really takes me there very easily. Let's look at one or two more photos, and we'll call this one done, make this a little bit of a short one. And if you're interested in my concepts about curries, I do have some podcasts up about that. The curry debate on YouTube are a couple of different videos. This is the kind of stuff that he photographs that I adore. Like his hands in motion. Isn't that gorgeous? And then there's the picture. I want that cake right now with a cup of coffee. I didn't tell you the names of any of these recipes because I'm so enamored by. This is an apple masala, a masala chai cake. So yum, yum. How lovely is that? Date and tamarind loaf. Look at this beautiful thing with the caramel going over it. Let me show you that whole picture. Look at that. Oh, you know that's absolutely delicious. Just beautiful to look at. His book slows my brain down. His blog will slow your brain down in a good, focused way. In a way that I think our brains, to be honest with you, are all craving. We're getting addicted to the speed, to the click, to the flash, 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 and it's not actually what we really want. So, again, no judgment. If you are a TikTok lover, good for you. And if you are a slot machine lover, I hope you win big. For me, it's a little bit of an assault, really, at the end of the day, and I have to find ways to slow it down, to appreciate some quiet. Cooking is one way to do it. Looking at beautiful photographs of what someone else is cooking is another really gorgeous way to do it. And this book just does it for me. It settles me in. It quiets me down. Maybe because the photos are so cool with that dark background. Here's one more. Here's a little cocktail for the road. Isn't that beautiful? And I just love the photo, like his hands on the glass. Like he's just presenting this beautiful treat for you. It looks very welcoming and calming and refreshing. Season. Hey, check out his blog, okay? So Nick Sharma and A Brown Table is the blog. See what you think. Thank you so much for joining me on another Cookbook Corner. For my Gumroad subscribers, I'm going to put together a couple little handouts for you that are sort of some of my spicier, not hot, but, different spice-based recipes. If you want Nick's recipes, you'll have to go to his blog or you'll have to buy his cookbook. I hope you'll do both. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys are moving into fall like we are and having just a wonderful, delicious time. And if you cook anything out of Nick's book, let me know if you have a favorite. Put it in the comments below. I would love to know. Thank you so much for joining us for another Cookbook Corner, and I hope you guys are having a delicious day.